indeed. It's another edition of the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. This is where we talk issues. Of course, we look at several issues in different sectors of the country, from economy to business to politics. Especially policies. Politics is at the front burner because of some of the horse trading and the intrigues playing out ahead of the 2023 general elections. Very soon, the parties will be heading to the primaries. Of course, according to the timetable of the INEC, that's the official timetable, parties should have their flag bearer. The primaries should be conducted before sometimes in June. So there are all so many issues surrounding that, but we have been on these issues, especially right here in Abia State. So that will be part of the discussion this morning, even as we're talking politics again this morning on the platform. Still part of our morning show right here, the one we call the Morning Spies on Flow 94.9 FM. So welcome on board the platform. The pinnacle of all discussions is back on radio. My name is Michael Oni. You can join the conversation already. We're live on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Flow949FM. You can join the conversation already, of course, and watch what is happening in the studio. So the storm is gathering and the process is almost set for the wheel of governance to roll again. Definitely some would be on the losing side, and on the sideline, others would enjoy the glory of power. But across board, the argument about who takes what comes with different parameters. As you know, in Abia State, the talk about the Charter of Equity is such that we get to visit every election cycle. We were here in 2019. Even in 2015, we were here. The talk about the Charter of Equity was also at the front burner. But this edition of the platform is the Umuneato special edition, because we shall be doing this every Wednesday to look at things from the perspectives of Ungwa people. Of course, as you know, Dr. Max Unduagibe is the leader of the Ungwa Elders Forum, and he joins us live in the studio. Doctor, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining me this morning on the special edition of the platform on Flow FM.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and Mr. Moses Ogbonna is the former organizing secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Abia State. He joins us virtually. Mr. Moses, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the platform on Flow FM.
Excuse me, I am not Mr. Moses. I am Saint Moses.
Saint Moses, apologies. Apologies for that. That has been taken. Apologies for that. Saint Moses Ogbonna, former organizing secretary of PDP in Abia State. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. So let's begin the conversation. I will start with you, Dr. Max Unduagibe, right in the studio. Umuneato Group. Who are the Umuneato Group?
Thank you very much for having me. Umuneato Group is a name given to a number of local governments on the Ngwa side of the Abia Central.
Okay.
The local governments comprise of Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South, and Osisioma local government. These are the Umuneato Ngwa. But I suppose there is also Umuneato Umuahia, if you like,
Okay, so there is
Umuneato local governments, yes.
Umuneato, maybe Umuneato Umuahia.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
At the senatorial district, of Abia Central.
So why is this group so vocal during this time, this electioneering period? Because many will be saying we've not heard so much about Umuneato Group, Umuneato Ungwa Group before now. Maybe because we're heading to another election cycle, and that's where they're so vocal about their agitation. Has this arrangement always been there?
Yeah, you're correct. Before now, we used to alternate political positions, particularly at the senatorial level, with the Umuahia people. Umuahia people, I mean Umuahia local government, Umuahia North local government, Umuahia South local government, and Ikuano. So each time there is a senatorial election, is either Umuahia people will take it, after which, the Ngwa people will take it. It has always alternated, that way, until recently when the PDP apparently disturbed, that rotation,
Okay.
started. Yeah, so it came to our understanding that at the end of the day, the Bende side of Abia Central spent 8 years governing Abia State. And we share the same senatorial zone with them. Now, naturally, we demand that the next governor should come from our own side of Abia Central. Now, if you look at what has happened so far, the Bende people have governed this state for 16 consecutive years, while the Ngwas people, that's the Kwangwa people, have only spent 7 years plus. And it was a surprising thing for us, to see that the Bende people were also asking for the governorship, to make it 24 years against 8 years, for the Ngwa side, which is not a fair play, which is not a good thing, for us. So we felt that we need to campaign, and alert people, to what was going on.
Okay, let me bring in St. Moses here. From the explanation of Dr. Max in the studio, it looks like Umuneato is a political forum, is a political assemblage of some persons. Is it about politics? St. Moses, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Okay, St. Moses, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I think the sound is from your studio.
Okay, I'm asking, is it all about politics? Because from Dr. Max's...
NATO is not a political assemblage.
Okay.
It's not a political forum. It is a people, part of old Abba zone or Okwakwa zone. Only that when we had Abia Charter of Equity, it was an understanding made by the founding fathers of Abia State. Because each zone is afraid of the other. The sincerity of the other, they said we have to reach an understanding, an agreement before we can unite to have a state. Therefore, there was this Abia Charter of Equity.
Okay.
Between the old Bende and the old Abba, which is Okwangwa. Okwangwa is made up of 9 local governments, while old Bende is made up of 8. Now, Umuneato started the thing, the run. By then, Afibo was part of Abia State. At the creation of Ebonyi State, Afibo left, Umuneato left. Ojozo Kalu came up. When Ojozo Kalu came in, there was now a creation of senatorial zones, which was not contemplated by the writers of Abia Charter of Equity. The Abia Charter of Equity says any political position that could be shared between the 2 zones, like the governorship position, which is the only thing that can be shared between the 2 zones.
Are you paraphrasing, or you're quoting directly from the Charter of Equity now, St. Moses?
I am saying what the intent of Charter of Equity is, what the understanding was, what was written down by the Abia Charter of Equity. Whenever such a position comes up, if old Bende takes a share, at the next turn, it will come to old Abazon or Okwangwa. That is why you can never have a governor from old Bende and a deputy from old Bende. No, it's because of the Charter of Equity.
Okay, if from your line of argument, I'm happy that you've brought in this contemporary political issue into our discourse this morning on the platform on Flow FM. I'm going to return to you, St. Moses. In case you just joined us, it is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Okay, I'm going to return to you, St. Moses Ogbonna. It is the platform, a special edition, because this edition we will be doing it. We shall be doing this every Wednesday. We call it Umuneato Special. Of course, looking at things from the perspectives of the Ungwa people. Now, let me return to you. I'm happy you've brought in the issue of Charter of Equity. Now, looking at your line of argument that it is between the old Aba and old Bender zone, that the zoning and rotation of opportunities should be along that line. Does that line of argument carry everyone along in the state? Because some persons are claiming that they've been left out. If we are going to look at it from that perspective, St. Moses.
Yes, you see, without the Charter of Equity, those people crying that they have been left out will be left out. That is the reason why the founding fathers had to write this Charter of Equity, so that people like Okwa zone will be a time the thing will rotate to them naturally. People like Ikwano that feels they are minority, governorship will get to them. What happens is that when Ojo Zokalo, His Excellency Ojo Zokalo, with this due respect, came up as the governor of Abia State after his 8 years, instead of him to obey the Charter of Equity and shift the thing to the Okwangwa zone, he said no, that the thing will now run along the central zone. Abia North, after Abia North, it will now come to Abia Central. Yes. If his argument was, if he was sincere in his argument, there are two zones in Abia Central. Like Dr. Max said, the Okwangwa zone, which is Umuneato, and the old Aba zone, which is Umuahia North, Umuahia South, and Iguano. They are all old Bende. We are all Okwangwa. If Ojo Zokalo was sincere, he would have given the thing to the Okwangwa zone of Abia Central, which is either Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South, and Osisoma. He never did that. He gave it to old Aba zone Central, which is Umuahia. That was where DA came up and did another 8 years. We cried that time, we wailed, we did everything, we put it in song. Allow us to have once, just once, because every military appointment there, every civilian appointment there. Now, George, as a father of equity, after his own 8 years tenure, he shifted it to Abia South, Okwangwa, which is where we are now. Remember, this thing has been trekking. It did not jump. It trekked from old Bende, Abia North, to old Bende, Abia Central. Now it has trekked to Okwangwa, Abia South. My brother, it will reverse. It will not jump. It will trek back to Central, Umuneato. That is where we are. So that when you do 16 years, Okwangwa people will do 60 years.
Okay.
They say no, that it will jump back to Abia North.
Okay,
we say no. It has not jumped. It has no wings.
Okay.
It has not flown. It has been trekking. And it will trek. And it is trekking.
Just a moment, St. Moses. I'm going to return to you. St. Moses is speaking to us virtually. Dr. Max is in the studio. Dr. Max, I want to find out whether the old Aba and old Bender division was the crux of the agitation for power shift to the south in 2015, which led to the emergence of Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu as the governor of Abia State.
Of course, yes. I mean, the issue started with Ojo Zokalo, the governor Ojo Zokalo at the time.
Okay.
He had agreed, prior to his second term in office, he had agreed that, after his second term, that he was going to move the governorship to the old Abazo, that's to the Ngwa side. St. Moses alluded to that. He didn't do that.
So it has always been this has always been the argument.
Yes, of course. I mean,
in 2015,
if you and I own something, then in sharing it, it has to be split into two, isn't it? You take one side, one part, I'll take one part. Now, if we share it into three, and you take two parts and give me one part, it doesn't show fairness. It doesn't demonstrate equity. So the point here is that, the old Umuahia zone, and just like Semosi said earlier on, the old Umuahia zone comprised of Ohozara, Afikpo South, and the rest of the rest of Abia North today. Now, Ohozara and Afikpo had gone to Ebonyi. Now we have 5 local governments in Abia North. But the Umuahia man, the Ibeku man, the Ikuono man, is also an old Bende man. So when Ojozo Kalu gave them power, it accumulated 16 years of old Bende being in power. Now when Governor T.A. Oji, moved it to Abia South, the natural thing is that coming from Abia South in 2020, the power will have to stop again, just like it did, earlier on, with Ojozo Kalu. It has to stop again
Dr.
in
Max,
Abia Central, the west side of Abia Central.
Some persons have argued that this line of argument is saying, if I can put it that way, that we have 3 senatorial districts in Abia State, and we should be talking about power rotation along the senatorial districts, which is recognized in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So why going along the clans instead of along the senatorial districts that is recognized by the Constitution? If we are to go by zoning,
very well. Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Let me tell you this. The Abia Charter of Equity was written 10 years before the creation of Abia State.
Okay, by the founding fathers.
The founding fathers agreed, that if they don't agree on how political power is going to be shared, they will not be part of Abia State. For example, the Ngwa side, was looking for Aba State. The Umuahia side was looking for Abia State. In order to encourage the Aba people, that's old Aba people, to join the Abia State movement, that Charter of Equity had to come in, had to be written and agreed upon. And it is agreed upon on the basis of the fact that there are 2 clans, the old Bende clan and the old Aba zone clan. These are the Okwangwa people constitute a clan, if you like.
Okay.
And then the old Bende people constitute a clan. So the agreement was between 2 clans. It wasn't between 2 senatorial zones. The senatorial zones were not in contemplation at the time this thing was written. Now, 3 senatorial zones have been created, just like you said, and you want us, to base our argumentations, on the basis of the 3 senatorial zones. I make the point, to you by saying this: if you put 2 persons into one room, if you put an Ibeku man inside this room,
okay,
and put an Okwangwa man inside this room, an Ibeku man knows ab initio that he is Bende man. The Ngwa person too also knows that he is Ngwa man. The mere fact that you brought them into one room does not change anything. They remain what they are, both in their person and in their territory. So you cannot tell me that because you put you put an Ngwa man and old Bende man, in one room, therefore, the old Bende man is no longer an old Bende man, or the Ngwa man is no longer an Ngwa man. They remain what they are.
Okay, let me bring in St. Moses here. St. Moses, if we sustain this argument of old Bende, old Aba, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. So the answer might be Hydra-headed. If we sustain this argument, aren't we dividing the state along the clans? That's one. Then 2, the second question is, are you saying that the former governor of Abia State, he's now a senator, T.A. Oji, didn't represent the interest of some local governments that also has Ukwa Ungwa, if we look at your narration, doesn't represent, he didn't represent the interest of those local governments while he was serving as the governor of the state?
The first question, I will answer it this way. Okay. We are not dividing Abia State along clannish zones.
Okay.
right? We are still moving along the understanding of senatorial districts as started by His Excellency Dr. Ojo Zokalo. Okezibas is from Abia South, where the power is now. The Charter of Equity or the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria never stated how these things will move. That if it begins from Abia North and ends at Abia South, it will jump over and begin from Abia North to come down to South. No. It is made in a manner that all the zones will never be cheated. After Abia South, it will now come to Abia Central. We are not saying it must be one clan or the other, but we are saying because it has come to Abia Central before, and it is now coming to Abia Central now. The other divide of Abia Central that did not have the opportunity at the first time it came to Central will now, in fairness, be the ones to afterward. Let me tell you one thing. Those people at Ibek who were also having interest in the shot when it comes to have agreed that it will come to Central. People from Ibek who were interested in the governors, who are now using their kai to throw with their left hand, were interested. Until we say no, you have done before. Then that's okay. Since we have done before, shift it to Abia North. We say no. For you to even show interest shows that you believe and they agreed that it has not been flying. It has been trekking. It has been left Abia South. It will now trek back to Central, not in Okwangwa. We are saying it is in Central. But because it has come to Central before and the old Bende Central has done, now it is returning to Abia Central. It is the turn of the Okwangwa Central, not clannishness. That is one.
All right.
Second, when D.O.G. was the governor, His Excellency, with due respect, was the governor. If you study the Constitution, why they say federal character, it's not because they want to divide the country into clans and villages. It is because at least because of the vastness of the state or the federal government, of the federal territory, because of the interest, numerosity of the interest that the state fund may not be able to take care of. They say rotate this thing so that whoever has the power will be able at least to take care of the area that hitherto may not have been taken care of should that power not come there. If you look at certain people that governed Abia, Aba was never their interest. And Aba is the hub, the economic hub of Nigeria. If you don't take care of Aba, many people were because maybe they wanted to take care of the area, concentrated at their zone. We are not saying nobody took care of the whole of Abia, but the resources and the fund may not be enough to take care of the whole of Abia. But at least whoever is the governor, charity has a base. Charity has a home base. Charity has a beginning. Will at least the areas that are neglected in his area, he will look to take.
Is this argument now based on the fact that Aba has been neglected, being the commercial hub of Abia State, because whoever becomes the governor is the governor of Abia State?
Yes, that is why even Governor D.O.G., at the time he was, there was much agitation on the neglect of Aba. Do you know the slogan he introduced? He said, Mwaba Garu Aba. That means when I hand over power to you, you build your place. You see, maybe that is not what the writers of family fathers of Abia Charter of Equity
Yes.
intended. But at least in practice, we have seen it. That you can pass have roads in Aba. There's no road in Aba that you cannot point at Okejibas. None.
Okay. We need to take a break now.
The power. We're in power in Aba. Lawyers had to wear a boot. People had to protest. There were no roads anywhere. But today, we can say yes, there are roads. No single government can build all the roads in Aba. If they had done at least what Okezibazo has done, I think Okezibazo would have gone further.
All right. Just a moment, St. Moses Ogbonna, former organizing secretary of Abia PDP.
Not only that, I am the president general of Nzuko Ohanese Okwangwa.
All right. I'm going to return to you, and I'm also going to return to Dr. Max Nduagibe right in the studio. When we return, we're going to continue the conversation. Very interesting conversation we're having. It's going to be like this every Wednesday on Flow 94.9 FM, the platform special, the focus on Umuneato, of course, the agitation of the Ukwalangwa Elders Forum, of course, in charting that cause for the people of Old Aba division. Of course, the argument has been there that Old Aba has had their Old Bend rather has had their own fair share of 16 years according to their narration, and also it is only just according to the narration also that Old Aba should have their own fair share for another 8 years, making it 16 to talk about equity and fairness. Anyways, the platform returns, of course, looking at the things from the perspectives of the Ungwa people. We take a break now. When we return, we continue the conversation this morning on the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions on Flow 94.9 FM. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Still the platform, Wednesday edition right here on the Flow of God's Own State, special edition, of course, looking at things from Ukwalangwa perspectives, of course, Umuneato special, that's what we call it. We will be doing this every Wednesday right here on the Flow of God's Own State, Flow 94.9 FM. I have been speaking with Dr. Max Nduagibe, the leader of Ukwalangwa Elders Forum, and also St. Moses Ogbonna, who joins virtually, former organizing secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Abia State. Now let's continue the conversation. I'm going to return to you here in the studio, Dr. Max. Has Ukwalangwa settled for any aspirant? Do you have a consensus candidate? Because it's been reported in several fora and tabloids that there is a consensus candidate in the person of Professor Ikone.
I think it has been said that the Ukwalangwa Council of Elders, not Forum, Ukwalangwa Council of Elders,
yes,
is a non-political organization.
All right.
It's a cultural, socio-cultural organization. It's a pressure group, if you like. And we are made up of people from various political parties within our zone.
Okay.
You have the APC members, you have ABGA members, you have PDP members. Obviously, Abia State, more or less, it has been a PDP state, for a long time. So the membership of Ukwalangwa Council of Elders is essentially, let me say that the PDP members are in the majority. But nevertheless, there are APC people and there are also ABGA people. Now, coming to your question.
Yes.
We are not interested in telling the parties who could be their candidates. The parties are free to look at their membership in our zone, and if they find somebody who is capable, they can give that person nomination, they can give that person endorsement. So I have heard that PDP is considering, Professor Ikone. I have heard that. I don't know
heard. Who are those that are considering? You say PDP. Are those PDP members in Ukwalangwa?
No, you realize that when Governor Joseph Carlo,
yes,
decided who was going to be his deputy, who was going to succeed him rather, He did it single-handedly. The same thing with Senator T.Orji. When Governor T.Orji, when he wanted to decide who was going to be his successor, he did it single-handedly. But in the case of Okezie Ikpeazu, he was consulting party people, he was consulting stakeholders, and so forth, traditional rulers and all that. You saw the series of meetings he held, trying to consult people.
A lot of pressure group have been visiting him at Umobekwa.
Exactly. So the point I'm trying to make is that, he has been more consultative, in his own approach. But PDP is following their own program. APC is going to follow their own program. They have started, I think they'll start selling forms and all that, The same thing
but
with...
What will Ukwalangwa elders do if we have a lot of aspirants coming from your agitation, supporting your agitation, coming from that end of the state, saying they want to... won't you consider a consensus?
That would be great. That is what we're asking the politicians to do for us. If the three political parties will give endorsement, to their members, any of their members, from our zone, that's from Umuneato, then we will have, say, 3 governorship aspirants or candidates from the 3 major political parties in the state. Then what will be our own responsibility? That is the Council of Elders,
Yes.
The Ukwalangwa Council of Elders will now look at the 3 prospective candidates and see who amongst them appears to have more acceptance, than the other. Then that is where we will be able to play a role.
Okay. St. Moses is still very much online, joining us virtually, and I'm going to rephrase the question to him. This issue of Professor Ikone looks like the Umuneato Unga group is so at home with Professor Ikone, because we've seen pictures of members of the group visiting him, and it seems, and since then he's been getting nod from that side of the state. Does it mean that he has the nod of Umuneato Unga group and the Ukwalangwa elders?
I know very well that Okezie Ikpeazu cannot or has not picked anybody.
Okay.
He has not told anybody, I have picked so person. Single-handedly, no. The constitution is there, the party constitution is there, the modality for choosing whom the candidate of the party is there. And the INEC has sounded it as a warning last week that the parties should follow the modality that is very lawfully stated. But the Ukwalangwa people, not only Umuneato, the Ukwalangwa people will sit down and look at all the people that are coming out. At the auspicious time, when the time has come to become,
yes,
we will sit down. The criteria we are going to use, we will not tell you. It is our own secret. Okay. Because the Ukwalangwa people are not the only delegates. It is the delegates that will elect who becomes the candidate of the party. But what the Ukwalangwa people are saying, all the parties in Abia State, please, if you need our support or want it, choose your candidate from Umuneato.
All right.
When you choose your candidate from Umuneato or show interest in Umuneato, we will support any of those candidates that come out from Umuneato. How we are going to do it is not a matter of the public. Right. The elders will sit down and harmonize it. This Pongwa will be there to shout it. All other areas will shout it. We have done it before. We've been doing it. Even those of the old men, when they wanted to become their own governor at their own time, they came to us and we wrote a pact. We entered into agreement before they became their own governors.
All right, St. Moses.
At our own time, we know we are consulting making sure that even our brothers in Old Bende, we support whoever we said must be.
We need to. I have so much to ask the both of my guests this morning, but we will postpone the conversation till next week because we need to get reactions on the phone lines 0808-182-6949 or 0811-605-2949. Also drop messages on 0906-510-8289. The platform special edition, Umuneato special we call it. It will be on this radio station every Wednesday between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Okay, you can join us and you can also drop your messages on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Flow949FM. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome to the platform.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Ebere, calling from Umuneato.
You're welcome, Mr. Iberi.
Yeah, my contribution there is that the problem we have is no matter of where the person who is in charge is coming from. We need somebody that will take Abia State to the next level, despite the area that you are coming from. But the truth must be told that we are meant to know that is a rotating issue. So since the rotation now comes to Abia North, the Ngwa people should allow the peace to reign here in Abia State. That's my conclusion. My name is Ebere Chief.
Thank you, Ebere. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome to the platform on Flow FM.
Michael, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's your name and where you calling from?
Michael, you're not supposed to ask about my name. You should know my name through my voice.
If I know your name, the caller that is listening might not know your name, and my guest might not know your name.
My wonderful friend. My name is Umuneato. I'm calling from Aba.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes, my senior brother said, Moses, have a wonderful morning. And the day, Mark Ngagi Bemazuo, Kalam Kasa.
Come on,
Yeah, my name is Umuneato. I'm a true son of Okangwa extraction. The situation now, what people are saying, you look like for me, I don't like the way you are saying it. People will say it clearly. Professor Ikone is the next governor of Abia State. There's no two ways about it. I'm telling you, take it my word to the bank, and I know what I'm telling you. If former governor of Abia State, Dr. Ojus Okalu, choose Yoda Hambe Floyd from Ongwa extraction, from Abia Central extraction, clearly, Omaya. Now, if Governor Bazu, who is incumbent governor from Abia South, to choose somebody from Ungwa extraction, Mr. Lango Sushoma, it's a clear something. I don't know why people playing gamble on this thing. There's no two ways about it. So if somebody like Professor Ikone, who will know when he was the rector of Abia State Polytechnic Aba, got through, his handwork is there, can transform Abia. There's no two ways about it.
All right, comrade,
so
quickly wrap up.
This issue of gamble, should stop. Ikone is going there, and we vote there. We are not local government. We have what it takes to rule Abia. Even if they segment us, we will have that. We will send it to
all right, comrade. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome to the platform on Flow FM.
Hello, good morning, Mike. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
It's Mr. Princewell calling from Umuneato.
All right, Mr. Princewell.
I thank God. This is your guest today. But in my own view, this very chapter of equity, I have to ask those honorable men to withdraw. Because one, this is in front of this Abia North. And then once it comes back to Abia Central, then is the time they will climb up for that very change or that very thing they are thinking of. For now, let them allow somebody from Abia North to go for that very thing. That is my take. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your take. Let's get more reactions, and they can react to the pulse of the people. Keep your calls coming. 0808-182-6949, 0811-605-2949. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mike.
You're welcome. Good morning.
I'm calling from.
All right, Mr. Okafor Chinedu.
Okay, I respect your guest.
Can you be more audible rather, so that
okay,
I can thank you.
I respect our guests in the house and their opinion. But I want to tell them that the Umuneato from Food Abad Zone and the Umuneato from Post Bende Zone are all in one senatorial zone. Who is representing Abia Central today? He's not just representing one zone of Umuneato from them. It is representing the whole senatorial zone from the two Umuneatos. So they should please patiently wait for power to return to Central. Then we can now talk of Umuneato in Central from Abazo. That is my take. I think it should be more fair.
All right, Mr. Chinedu, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is John Odoye. I'm calling from Umuneato.
You're welcome, Mr. John.
I've been listening to this program and hearing what your guest has been saying. And like you rightly asked them before, what are they sharing it by client or by senatorial district? Because all these things they are trying to do now is to create problem in our state, and which our children will inherit, you know. And another question I want to ask them, if it is what they are saying, let them know that in anywhere they are talking, let them not say anything like Igbo presidency, because this is the same thing that is happening, that all the Igbos are fighting that they need to have Igbo presidency come 2023. But with this statement that they are saying, in this statement that they are doing now, let them not say anything like Igbo presidency. In fact, Igbo should forget about Igbo presidency. Let us go with their district.
All right, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Team Timmy on our Facebook page says, good morning, gentlemen in the studio. I think what people need will be someone that is capable to develop the state, not which tribe. And that's why we don't do anything, rather we keep the money. Some people keep the money for themselves. Chinedu Mokafo says, good morning. I believe Senator T.O. Oji is representing Abia Central Senatorial Zone, not Umuneato Old Bende. I think the Umuneato Kualangwa side should wait for power to come to Central after 8 years for them to have a bit of the seat of governor. This is because each of the three local government from different zones are in one senatorial district. Ezekiel Elvis says the political affairs in Abia is getting very tough from all angles. With each passing day, we are all watching with keen interest. Much love, Flo FM. All right, Dr. Max, you heard what people say. I'm sure you want to react to some of the comments from the phone lines and the SMS line.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I want to react to the issue of give us the best person who can develop the state and all that.
Okay.
Don't give me the impression, that there are no such persons, from Okwangwa that can develop the state. When Governor Joseph Kalu became the governor, he wasn't the best, in the country. I mean, in the state at the time. And his period, shows that we needed a better person, than him. Now, the same thing happens to TOG. TOG is certainly not the best, that we have in Abia State at the time. So let nobody begin to tell me that, I don't care where it comes from, if you don't care where it comes from, then accept, that it's coming from Okwalangwa area, and that's it.
All right,
we can give you the best we have.
Let me take St. Moses. St. Moses, we have 30 seconds because we need to step out of the studio. Saint.
Yeah, the people that reacted are reacting based on their impulse. When you say that you don't care where it comes from, we also say we don't care where it comes from. When you say you don't care where it comes from, why do you care? Well, when it comes from Umuneato. Umuneato is also a zone where you do not care whether it comes from there. So it's settled. We are settled that it must come from Umuneato. It is our turn. and so be it.
All right.
PDP knows it is the turn of Umuneato. PDP
we will talk much more about party politics and the political parties arrangement maybe next week, because it seems PDP is the only party buying into this argument as we speak in Abia State. But we will delve into that much more, expatiate that on the program next week. Thank you very much, St. Moses Ogbonna, former organizing secretary, Abia State PDP. Thank you for joining us virtually today on the platform on Flow FM.
Thank you.
And I want to appreciate Dr. Max Ndwagibe for joining this morning also on the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Many thanks to my producer, Samson Eze and Daisy Okoro, and also the guys behind the visuals on our Facebook page, Stanley and Chinedu. My name is Michael Oni.